Mum, you know you could go in this water and you could just, and then it would be shallow. You could get in this water, can you?
Yeah, it would be shallow.
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh, nearly.
I believe in my own
Hey?
$5 for 6 tokens.
I'm going to go up to the lookout. You want to go up to the lookout?
Where's that? Oh,
Yeah.
Are you going to be alright?
Turkish delights and orange centres. There they go.
They're not that far away, I can still hear them talking. Let's see if they come back.
Alright, the girls are off in their paddle boat. Hopefully Mum's experience will help them steer. So you and Abby would have really struggled, I think. Don't you think? It's lovely, isn't it? Lovely place.
Right, that's the middle.
Where are we, kids?
What? Tracks Cafe at the Wilderness Railway. That's where we are.
Where are you? Where are you?
Me? Oh yeah, I'm at the Tracks Cafe too.
And so is Mum.
Railway.
Yeah, I am too. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yep, that's good.
Right, yep. Move your hands.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we're at Tracks Cafe. We're going to be going on the Wilderness
Been
Railway
Friday
at 9
game.
o'clock a.m. I got introduced to you.
Yeah, what's the time now?
I don't know. I don't have a watch.
Not 9 o'clock.
No.
Alright, well,
It's 8.
show the train when we get out there.
Yeah.
This is very
and I'll take some
exciting.
Insta photos.
Mm? Very exciting.
Very good. Dad?
Hey?
What time is it now?
9.
About 8:40. Not on that. Not on that hand.
It does, because we're going to be...
Carrot? Well,
8:42. 3 minutes, people. Go. Up here. Is your theatre on the ground? My theatre.
Some photos with the camera. The still camera.
we're on the train.
You can take something with the still camera.
We are yet to leave.
We have the still camera with.
Oh, yeah, it's in the car.
It's 10 minutes.
We haven't used it yet.
No, today I'm going to be sharing with you some stories. Stories of determination, sheer endurance and a battle for survival. Stories of how this little township came into its being and why this railway is here and why it was so special. But I feel the best place to begin these stories is by talking about what's going past our windows at the moment. We are travelling through the bustling metropolis of Queenstown. Now I know Queenstown does look a little bit empty in the modern day, and there is a very good reason for that. Queenstown at the moment has a population of around 1,500, but at its prime 8,000 people called this region home, so a few less than there was during the boom times. But Queenstown, it certainly was a wealthy and glamorous region. It was said that the ladies in Queenstown were the finest dressed anywhere in the state. It was easier for us to get anything over from Melbourne than it was from our own capital cities. So more often than not, we're receiving the fashions out here before they get them down in Hobart. And that extended into every facet of life. If you went into one of the Queenstown pubs and you had about 42 to choose from at its prime, you couldn't even find a Tasmanian beer on tap. All of our beers were coming over from Melbourne as well. But this place certainly had the wealth and the lavish spent on it. To give you a good example of that, the Empire Hotel, the beautiful grand two-storey built town. Well, it all started back in the 1880s when the nation was gripped with a very dangerous, contagious fever that was taking everybody by storm. A dangerous fever they simply labelled gold fever. As our West Coast story has said, just after the Victorian gold rushes are all starting to peter out. People are looking for a new dream to follow, a new hope to cling to. And rumours emerge of the gold being found on the West Coast. It was said you could go to any tussock of grass, pull it up, and the gold simply sprinkled away. That certainly did attract many prospectors to this region. But for all of that wealth, the biggest news of all came when a few young lads struck a bridge up on the slopes of Mount Lyell. The Mount had then to follow the Queen River upstream until he got to around where our first station stop sits. And it was here that he came across a gold nugget about the same size as a cricket ball. Now I'm sure for most of us, a gold nugget that size, we're not going to tell anyone about that. Slip it in our pocket and see if we can't sneak back to the river in the dead of night, try and find some more gold. Lynch didn't do that. No, Lynch took a different view to matters. He took that gold nugget to the nearest pub, looked it on the counter and tried to buy a beer with it. Funnily enough, everybody in the pub wanted to know where he found that gold nugget. Now this is where Lynch got very clever. He told them, down to the most minute detail. He may as well have drawn them a map. Now overnight, everybody flocked out here to see if they couldn't find their own.
I hear it.
And he is quite interested. But it's not the gold that he pays attention to. He notices that everybody else is throwing away this silvery coloured rock. Whereas Kelly thinks there might be a little bit more to this. So he takes some samples, sends them back to the assay officers at BHP to see what is in this mine. And when the samples come back, they show a rather interesting contrast. There isn't a great deal of gold in that mountain, but what everybody else has been throwing away is copper. There's literally a mountain's worth of it up there, and everybody's ignoring it. Rose Kelly saw this as the perfect opportunity. He goes back with, but that wasn't going to stop him. Rose Kelly was willing to gamble his entire company upon this system working. He goes out and he orders 7 kilometres of rack rail and 1 specialised locomotive. But did it work? Did it all go as Rose Kelly had planned? I for one severely hope so, because we have engaged with the same rack opinion system. Now it is a rebuilt version of what was originally here, but rebuilt to the same specifications. So we're now climbing up the hill just the way trains climbed up these hills over 120 years ago. Now it is now you start to get a bit of a feel for how much of a steepness there is on the carriage. You will also start to notice how much we are climbing up the treetops. But most importantly, if you listen very, very carefully going up here, you might hear our little locomotive saying something. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can.
Wow, look how far down that is.
So now we're looking out the windows, Ben. You can see down.
The river's still down there, but it's a fair way down there.
It doesn't really feel like we're going up, other than the jerking it, but you can, we're probably at, I don't know, 20 meters or so, maybe. But there's still just lots of trees and things to see. When they first started, there was like to see steam out the window, like smoke and steam. And you can only see out the windows. That's what Abby went over.
Hey, then look what I'm doing on the window. I'm cleaning.
How can he look? Did you say Ben?
No.
Oh, I thought you said Ben.
Hey,
No,
Dad,
she said-
I'm cleaning the window.
Well, don't it?
Why?
You'll smash the window.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Mom.
Okay. What did she do? Just touch it.
Oh, dangerous. I don't want to be on the track. They're going to run me over. No, it's not the actual track. It's the A track.
And this is, I think this is an example of the gears that they used.
How it works up
The
the hill.
system they used, the rack and pinion. And she said to
How do you remember what it was called?
let you have a feel.
There's a sign here.
I was like, round arm?
Oh, I did remember that. I thought when he did the location, I thought like all the doors are like all
We are currently at
That's how I have to spell it.
Rhinadina.
Golden gemstone
Funky
mine.
Rhinadina.
I think the next stop is the
Funky Rhinadina?
turning, yeah, Funky Rhinadina.
Double
Turning,
barrel.
double barrel.
I thought of that.
I can't use this now, so YouTube
Why not?
made a bad joke.
Oh, Dad.
That's where we came from.
There we go. I'll post that later. Look at that, Dad.
Yeah. Came from down that hill.
What? Seven? What? What? You sure?
A long way down.
Now look. It's still,
What?
it's holding on.
Yeah. Hello, bug. Ready for your close up? Can't really see it against the background.
What's that kid saying pink theatre on this train?
And how does this compare to the train when you went on the train?
Just remind you, please do not open the doors. It is 65 meters straight down. And also, if you are on the opposite side of the carriage, so the right-hand side, don't worry, we will be swapping sides at the next station stop. So if you don't see it on the way down, you will get to see it on the way back up again. Now, it doesn't look too treacherous of a river, I will grant you. There is a little bit of white water, but surely they could have found a way around that. Well, the King River, as it flows today, is probably flowing half of what its average capacity was when the surveyors were coming through. See, the King River in the 1990s, it was dammed to form Lake Burberry. So coming in from Hobart Way, you have essentially driven over the start of the King River already, or heading out Hobart Way, you are going to be driving over the basic start of the King River. So what comes down the river these days depends upon how much power is being generated at the John Butters power station just outside Queenstown, unpredictable, but does mean the river does flow half of its average capacity.
Yeah, we're still above the gorge. Long way down to the river. Yeah, we are. We is.
Thanks for travelling with the West Coast Wilderness Railway. Please mind your step. No, this is just a driver and fireman being very nice, giving us a chance to fully appreciate the King River Gorge without having those trees.
Yeah. Turntable. It's turntable. It's a table. Oh no, you are.
We're getting off a double barrel. This is where the train turns around. I just want to get a photo over here.
Your toes can't feel.
That's not football. I did it.
Yeah?
Oh, my phone's 77% and it's 11:25.
So the train's going to come. The carriage is. Oh, the train's already off, I think. The train's unhooked. It's gone to the other track, and now it's going to reverse back and get spun around by this thing, which will go down and film, I guess.
Turntable.
I don't remember saying that.
So it's backing up at a pretty good speed now there.
I have to turn it manually. Oh, push!
Oh, look at him go.
Push!
Pushing it.
Let's make some motor down there.
About a motor.
He's got a handle. He's got someone helping at the other end. So wait, line it up. Now it can go up, switch tracks, and then it's at the front again. Viola.
Voila.
I'll hold it, I'll hold it.
Yeah.
Voila.
I definitely won't think of it.
Alright, we better do this. Alright.
Your drink is nice.
Oh.
I am not fooled by you.
This way. Asian trees hidden deep.
Oh no, that track goes nowhere, Abby.
Really?
It must go the other way to Strawn.
This is not what we're doing for. You know what I'm saying, Mom?
Sassafras. Or as I call it, the Atheris burner moscotum.
One of the most distinguishable trees in the forest, sassafras can go to a
what I
height
call
of
it.
45 meters. Ooh.
That's what I call them.
If you could pronounce it right, that would be better.
It could take on the conical form of a Christmas tree.
The Atheris
Elegant
burner
drooping and bowing
moscatum.
branches.
You know what that's
The
named
leaves
after?
are a shiny dark green
What?
color. with
Aspirin.
serrated edges.
Well,
Maybe it's
Arthur.
got the leaves resembling a shape
Oh,
teardrop with a strong
Atheris
licorice scent.
Isn't that like Arthur and the
That just feel more.
I know, but we
We
gotta.
gotta keep moving.
Saying it can take on the form of a Christmas tree.
Ah. Ooh.
Yeah, okay.
Oops.
Careful, Abby.
Yeah, Ben saw one, Abby.
So be careful.
For Insta. There was like tree stumps they posing on. The leatherwood. Eucaphia lucida.
And endemic to western Tasmania, leatherwood can grow to a height of 30 meters. Its trunk is usually straight with the leaves long and rounded and much like the shape of your little finger. The leather flowers are normally white, with flowering starting between December and January and lasting until around Easter.
Oh, we're in January.
Yeah. The smell is quite sweet and can be very strong towards the end of the season.
You might as well finish it now.
Known for its nectar that produces the world famous leatherwood honey, harvested and distributed through the region and can be often seen on the sides of highways or heading out of the west coast. It takes roughly 3,000 bees to make 1 kilo of leatherwood honey.
Wow.
So we're in January right now, so
Yeah.
so it's somewhere.
So it should be flowering then.
Yeah. Should be. Somewhere in January.
They're not white. I think it was all those flowers that were back at that other station.
Plus, I think that's to do with the leatherwood.
Flowers in December and January.
What it was, the leatherwood. Because they're white.
Yeah.
So it could be what. Okay, cool.
This way to bridge.
Hey, Dad, this bridge goes somewhere. It doesn't go nowhere. It goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Dad, this bridge doesn't go to just nowhere.
I like a bridge to somewhere.
It is a bridge to somewhere. It doesn't go to imaginary places. Which you never have to do this. It goes to here. Right there.
Yeah, just here.
Just right here. Yeah. Cool. I like the forest walk. That's
Yeah,
very cool, isn't
nice.
it? Oh, look at that. There's so many tree stuff.
Rains 300 days a year out here.
But then, oh yeah, did she say that?
Yeah. Hey?
Maybe if I pick up this up in front of you. Well, I must have put in the sleepers and bridges in this
I'm going to walk up.
Maybe it shouldn't go down here. Because that means up here. Oh, this is steep.
Here we are at, what's it called?
I don't know.
Rhinadina. Means little raindrops. Means little raindrops. Yeah.
What language is it?
Don't know.
Or is it slang?
Probably Latin.
You just said chant as soon as you started filming. You're going to leave that in, aren't you? Just chant. Chant.
There's a big clearing here. I don't think there's anywhere to go.
You know, it's kind of fun. Cross your ankles, Abby. Just let your just let your ankles like Ben's doing. And then just let your legs hang and your feet just go back and forth.
Wow, that's good.
How fun is that?
Yeah, good.
How good is it? Oh, now it's not doing it. How good is it? There we go.
Yes! Good, it's so good. Satchel. Once you can start talking, I don't know. Maybe you can find a satchel somewhere. She will eventually, I'm sure Mum will.
Yeah.
2 feet away, ask her.
What?
Commercial railway. To keep up with all of that though, you were going to need a number of locomotives. Mount Lyell did end up with around 38 locomotives in their fleet, all different engines, all with different purposes. But arguably the most iconic were their ABS steam engines, just like the one who's taken us on our journey today. Now of the ABS there were 5 original engines. They weren't given any fancy Thomas the Tank Engine style names, they were just simply called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Having very clinical names though didn't stop them from developing their own little personalities and their own little character quirks as time went on. Now it all started back in 1896 when men who were living out along the line to build the railway awoke one morning to find that a number of crates had arrived at their campsite. Curiously, they pried open the crates to find inside an AB locomotive DIY kit, about 100 pieces ready to assemble. Now they pulled all of the parts out of the crates and to their dismay they realised Dubs and Co. today. Now of the original 5, we do have 3 that service our line. We do have numbers 1, 3 and 5. As for the other 2, your number 2 with the closure of the railway was taken down to the Glenorchy Transport Museum, where she sat for a number of years until November 2019. It was then put on the back of a truck and taken to Burnie. The reason being she's gone to the engineering company to be refitted out and will be joining us on the line hopefully sometime this year. So we will have 4 of the original 5. We won't be completing the set now, unfortunately. Number 4 is a little bit harder to get back. Number 4, because she was such a problem child, became a statutory engine in the Mount Lyell limestone quarry. She ran the crushing plant. Now eventually they ran out of limestone in said quarry, so they stripped all of the usable parts off number 4 and collapsed the quarry in on top of her. So I suppose you could say she's still in Queenstown. Here those men, before they realised that they were not going to have survived a week in those stifling depths. And the fateful decision was made to close and eventually they would have to flood the mine to put the fire out. Now because they had to flood the mine, they had to wait for the water to reach the level of the fire and then fall back to the bottom of the mine again. So this meant it was 8 months before they recovered the final body. But as they recovered the men, they were brought up, autopsies were performed, everything was ticked off, and then they were put into a coffin and put in a special hearse wagon, and then the railway came to their aid once again. A locomotive came up to Queenstown station, attached to the hearse wagon, and would pull it along the line line bound for the Queenstown cemetery. It was said it was a solemn scene, seeing one of these funeral trains proceed its way through town. There were people walking in front of it, behind it, people riding in open wagons. It was a very solemn sight that greeted Queenstown. But the positive side to come out of the disaster was just how much it changed mining, not just at Mount Lyell, but it changed rules that all surrounded hard rock mining Australia-wide. So the sacrifice of those 42 lives have meant so many more safety measures have come in. So at least a positive has come out of this disaster.
Fine to the last step.
No, I'm gonna go on my lunch right now. Behind your date.
There it is.
Excuse me? Don't.
Weird. Miners Sunday, the transition from a prospectors camp to a settled community, commissioned by the Mount Lyell Mining and Railway Co. to commemorate the Lyell District Centenary, 15th of October 1983. This is our last look at lovely Queenstown.